Welcome to Get Chatty About Your Local Businesses, a podcast about small businesses, initiatives, and the people behind them. I want to showcase the LGBT+ community, friends, and allies who are forging their own paths and give you a sneak peek at what they do. James and Tristan are the co-founder of Forefront IT, a business dedicated to providing personalized IT support and services, particularly to small to medium-sized enterprises. Their approach is centered around being relatable and accessible, an IT best friend who will be real with you to call out your gaps in your practice. They are about demystifying technology, IT, and security. Welcome to Get Chatty About Your Local Businesses. Today I have the boys from Forefront IT with me. Hello, how are you?
Good. Hi, Arthur. Thank you for having us.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. I'm at your home. It's like, for fuck's sake, I'm just kind of like, I just pop by, it's like, hello, and then
We're just lounging around.
Exactly. It's just kind of like a lovely front room here. So I'm just kind of like, we're just hanging out, just having a nice chat, catching up on a Saturday morning and things like that. And today the camera's at the right angle for me. I don't know about you guys.
Okay.
But, well, thank you so much for taking part in this episode. Now, let's get to know you a little bit. So maybe I'll get each of you to talk a little bit about your professional background and how you come to starting the business together. Which one want to go first, Jay?
Well, I've been in IT since, I'm not going to say a year, but I've been in IT for over 20 years. Started as my high school system administrator. I was RMIT's youngest student ever at 15 to graduate with a Cert 4 in IT management with CCNA 1 and 2. Went on, started my first business while also doing BCE and working at the school, and then moved on and became national IT manager for a large retailer, and just moved up and kept moving on. So yeah.
There you go.
Nice. And then, hi everyone. I'm Tristan Bennett-Ackland. I'm the bit of the imposter, I guess, of our business. I'm the non-IT person in the IT business. So I'm the client partner here at Forefront. So my main goal is to work with our clients and anyone that we reach out to make sure that they feel supported and understood, because a lot of people don't understand technical talk. So that's kind of my goal here. I'm one of you in a way. I started out not knowing anything as well. So now I use my expertise to be able to translate it well for people. My background is in more of marketing and account services type roles. So making sure that things are easy to understand, good storytelling, good relationship building. I've worked at various different companies such as the Walt Disney Company, Tesla Motors, a couple of different kind of marketing firms along the way. Made the jump and, originally it was going to be 3 months testing the water, see if it works. But then at this point, it's been 6 months and it's still happening. So it's still going. I think that's our key success for Forefront is our focus on relatability and being easy to understand. I feel a lot of managed service providers or IT firms, they just kind of do one and done, like what's the problem, fix the problem. Whereas we want to kind of create a relationship with you and we want to have a lasting kind of journey. We want to be like your IT best friend. So we're going to sit there, we're going to tell you the hard news. We're going to give you the hard truths, but then we're going to fight really hard to make sure that you're successful.
There you go. Look, let's just say that if your friends show up wearing a white stretch pants with no underwear on, you got to tell them. You have to tell them.
Yeah.
You really should. Because, otherwise, no, you don't let them, let them, someone put a jacket around it or something.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a little bit
it's one of those things, like we definitely, it's a very sensitive kind of industry that we're in. We're dealing with a lot of sensitive confidential data, and people are very attached to their businesses. They care about their businesses. So it's hard sometimes when you have to come in and say, hey, you're not doing this the right way. So
Yeah,
we've
found that out the hard way. Because I'm a very, very strong moral compass, and I can't do wrong by anyone, and I want to help as many people as I can. But in doing so, people think deals with it.
One of our, I guess, our learning moments that for us is as we grew and developed, we knew we were coming in very strong, hot and heavy with our approach, and we realized that people were being a bit turned off by that because it was just too much. They weren't ready for it. So I kind of have coined something that we call like the matchmaking approach with our clients. So think of signing on to us or getting an audit from us as kind of like getting into bed with someone. So what we were doing, we were going, hi, nice to meet you. Let me get into your bed. So most people don't do that, don't like that. So
I welcome. That would be nice.
I said most people. So what we found was we needed to actually stop and take a step back and think, how do we manage the relationship to make them feel comfortable and trusting of us? Because they don't know who we are. We could say we're anyone. We could say we have all these credentials and history, but how do you really back that up? So what we then decided to do is we slow the approach down. We do meetings, we do face-to-face meetings with our clients. We probably have 2 or 3 meetings before we even discuss pricing or doing audits. That way we get to know their business inside and out. They get to know us inside and out. And what we've found is that's translated into much better conversions with clients, but then also clients that really support us and really and they're just dreams to work with because we're on the same page. We understand how they operate. We understand what they're looking for. Likewise with them, they understand us in and out, and they know that they can support us. Because it's one of those things where you can say all the right things here and there, but if you don't see the action behind it, they're always going to be kind of sitting there, questioning, oh, are these guys really have my back? So yeah, that's really been our great approach that I think we've developed over the past couple of months has been sitting here and really wanting to focus on the relationship building of it.
One of the things I really enjoy, especially when interacting with you guys, is it's something parallel that I do at my day job. Is that because for me as a digital marketer, I found that there's quite a few of them in the space that they would just have one approach.
Yes.
And then it's like I have this perfect, almost like a template that everyone has to apply to it. I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. People work differently. Everyone has their own need. You kind of need to talk to them, understand the context. You can't just go in and say, I have one approach, it's perfect, you have to take it. No. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you guys do a lot of customizing when it comes to approach.
We don't have packages. Like everything's completely bespoke to every business because every business is completely different and has different needs, different wants. So, yeah, everything's just completely bespoke.
There you go. Well, speaking of needs and wants, we are going to take a short break and then I'll have a bunch of in-depth questions for each of you. That would be very that would be an interesting thing. But of course, we'll take a little break and then we'll hear from some of the podcast OG supporters, just like the Forefront IP boys, and then and then we'll be back for an in-depth conversation. Cut. Welcome back, and we have the Forefront IT gentleman here. Hello, welcome back. Now I have a couple of questions that I've written here, so I'm reading off my mobile. Yes, don't at me. Anyway, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some information from the IT point of view and also from communication point of view, because you each of you are specialized in something a little bit different, and I think that's the important thing. You gotta be different from people that we're working with. If you're completely the same, you just you become a silo. Now, so one of the things in the small business space is that many people would start off doing, when they start, they just start. Many of us just jump into it and start sending a website, sending email, and all of these things. And sometimes when you use different platforms or a combination of different platforms, it can be risky. Can you tell us a little bit about would you describe that as like a disjointed system, or like how would it affect cybersecurity of that place? Can you give us a bit more?
It's organic growth. And you'll eventually hit a ceiling, and then you'll need someone like us to come in, and 9 times out of 10, the result is we have to rip everything out and replace everything. So it's very disruptive and very expensive. But I always say that businesses, when they're starting out, IT should be like an accountant or a lawyer. You use them to get your foundations all set up, right? Set up from the start, and then you'll have no problems growing.
It's true. It's like if you imagine this, that with someone run a business for a year, it's like, wait, what? I have to pay tax? Come on. So it's important to treat your IT setup or cybersecurity setup in the space of like almost like the foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely it is. I definitely tell people, you kind of think, I talk in analogies a lot. So think of your business as like a house or a brick and mortar business. Your IT alongside those things is part of your foundation. If there's cracks in your foundation, it's just going to go up into the walls, and then it's just going to get bigger and worse the more you leave it. So it's one of those things where, with us starting out, it might be, $1,000 to $5,000 potentially, just depending on what you're doing and how big the project might be. But then let's say you save it for 4 years or, longer than that. We're coming in and it could be 3 times that price if you've already, if you've been buying things that are just disjointed or outdated. So like we save you exactly not fit for purpose. So we save you that time and that money, and we create strategy plans for you to grow and scale effectively, and then save you money down the line because you're not replacing things that don't need to get replaced, because you'll be able to keep them longer. So
it's like that. It's like that. What was that crypto guy that went to jail? That they use a retail account software system to keep their books and things like that. That's a good example of fucking up.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. So it's and that's why you have people like us, that you don't have to worry about knowing all those things, because you're not going to know all those things. Business owners have so many things that they have to know. You can't know everything about tax. You have an accountant. You can't know everything about, X, Y, Z. That's why you have attorneys. That's why you have all of these things. You can't know everything about cybersecurity. For everyone out there listening, how many of you know the ins and outs of data sovereignty within Australia and what that entitles? I'm going to guarantee many of you don't. And that's what we're here for, because we do know those things. So then we make sure that they're executed in your business. And unless you really want us to, we love training, we love education, you don't have to worry about it, because you know that it's protected and it's there. And you can go on and focus on other things.
Speaking of education, this is a perfect segue for my next question, because on LinkedIn, I really enjoy your content. For example, like Tech Tip Tuesday and all of those really, I'll put a link underneath the video. And can you tell me about the process?
Oh my goodness, a hope and a prayer. I'm just kidding.
Sticky tape energy.
Yeah, literally. No, so essentially, we're trying to sit down and think, IT can be such a bland, kind of stark subject. You're not going to go sit just next to someone in a bar and say, oh, what do you think about Apple computers? Or what do you think about this new antivirus? No one cares. So we're really trying to sit there and think, what would I want to see as a non-technically minded person that is meaningful to me? We could do boring posts all day long about this is the brand new XYZ processor. No one's going to care. So it's sitting down and trying to figure out what's going to connect. So in my head, I thought, what if we do a simple, short little post once a week that you can do it at home. It's an easy little thing. So whether it's, where should I have my monitor for the best eye level, for best posture, little easy shortcuts to remember, little takeaways that for us are nothing, but then could actually improve someone's workflow. And so it's just giving them, just those little tidbits of golden information. And then hopefully, as they see those things, it helps build our authority, as they can trust us. We're oh, I remember those guys. I now do this because of them. And we kind of have a pun. We say, keep forefront IT, forefront in your mind. So it's little things like that help you keep forefront. So,
That's a good name. That's a good business name. That's a good business name.
Thank you.
I'm doing a little shout out and encourage people to go check out their LinkedIn tips and tricks and things like that, and tag your friend about it. Tag someone you know, or even share it on a direct message. It's like, hey, this is interesting. Give them a follow.
Yeah,
because that's how connection would build.
And interact with us. Ask us questions. Like we are never going to send you an invoice or never ignore you if you ask questions. So if you're saying, how do I do this? Like there's no harm. Like that's what we're here for. So if you don't know how to do something, like if you don't know how to update your computer, you don't know how to do XYZ, like send us a message and we will make it happen. Post publicly and we'll answer it. And who knows, you're probably not alone. There's a lot of people that don't know how to do similar things that they might feel embarrassed because, especially if you're older generation, that you're not used to all of the changes in tech. It can be a bit nerve-wracking because you don't want to seem like you don't know what you're doing. But there's no harm in it. Like a lot of business owners are in the same space. They're just trying to do the best they can. So absolutely interact with us. We're always like, that's our goal is we want people to feel comfortable. We want people to feel supported. So it's never going to come from a place of trying to lord over our knowledge over you and make you feel like you don't know anything or fearmonger, like, you know, oh, well, you should actually probably already know that. Like that's not at all how we are. Our biggest thing is we want to help.
I always have a little thing about you're only as good as the worst team member of yours. So what is the importance of cybersecurity awareness amongst team members based on your experience interacting with others?
One person in admin in the court system for Victoria clicked a phishing email, and then next thing the entire Victorian court system is ransomware, and 2 months of court footage of active court cases was stolen. So yeah, very critical.
And the other thing is the reputation damage that could come along. Like if someone running a small business, their reputation will probably be extremely valuable to their brand. And imagine the level of fucked up if they just by clicking a phishing email.
Well, that's also a very common thing. Like a lot of small business owners, like sole traders through to 5, 10 employees, they definitely have their head buried in the sand, the majority, and they think, oh, we're too small, that won't happen to us. We don't need IT, we don't need cybersecurity. But it's the complete opposite. Having that thought process and that opinion makes you a target because you have no security. So, like in the last week, we've actually been doing a lot of cleaning up because, we've had a few new clients this week because their websites have been hacked, turned into phishing mills and all of that. So
yeah, and it is like what you said, that attitude of they're never going to look for me, I'm too small. It's unfortunately actually the other way around. They're looking at you because you are small. You'll find that in Australia especially, I believe 2023, the numbers I'm not exactly sure on. It was around, I believe, 60, 70,000 for medium small businesses, $70,000 that were lost, reported. 700 actually, I'm sorry. And then it was actually the other way around for large scale businesses. It was less. So they're not looking for the large scale businesses because those guys are generally pretty protected. Not always. There's been exceptions, but the smaller one and medium ones, they're looking because they know that you have valuable information and they know that you are less likely to have these things in place. So, and it's hard because you don't want to fearmonger, but that is the reality of the world. So if you're not double checking what you're doing, if you don't have set strong passwords, if you don't have really good protocols and how you deal with your online data and deal with strangers, you're a target.
The last couple of years, there's a lot about AI. How is that affecting that space of targeting small and medium businesses?
It's making it much harder because it's now we're using AI to protect and the bad guys are using AI to attack. So it's AI versus AI.
Yeah, so it's one of the things, it's that's why I think you're seeing the volume of cyber attacks increase, because whereas once it used to just be some mystery man behind a keyboard doing it, it's now AI. It's intelligent programs just going program by every second. You have they're farms essentially of just computers that are just trained to do this. So that's why you're seeing the overall volume increase, because it's less manual, it's more automatic now. On the flip side of that, they're getting more getting more advanced. So you're seeing, the emails that used to be really easy to tell that it's a fake.
Badly written.
Exactly, badly written.
Very
It's getting better. They're getting smarter.
They're ChatGPT and all that. Right?
Exactly. Like you think about how ChatGPT sounds now, just basic, and that's you as someone that doesn't really probably know how to really prompt these things. So
then there's
deepfakes
and there's
audio
cloning.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure some of you have heard, but there's the one story where this mother paid like a $5,000 to $10,000 ransom because it was her daughter's voice on the phone saying, "I need your help. I've been kidnapped. Like, this is what they're demanding." It was never her daughter. They got her daughter's voice and replicated it from her voicemail. Like, "Hi, this is so-and-so." They were able to take that voice clip and replicate her voice. So it's definitely one of those things where we're telling people now, just be very mindful about your online presence and your cyber presence, because anything that you have out there, they can get access to. So in saying that, like, as long as you're diligent and as long as you're keeping an eye on things, don't be worried. Like, it's not Armageddon. Like, it'll be fine. But it's just something to be mindful of. It's kind of like when you have your house. If you lock your doors, you lock your car when you go out, like, just think about your profiles and things. Like, just always have just little, 2 extra seconds to log in can make a big difference down the line.
And say thank you to ChatGPT.
Yes.
Be nice to your AIs, because you never know. If they're going to come, then they're going to come for the mean ones first.
Well, just pretend that you're talking to a real person.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what they're designed to be.
I call my ChatGPT Adam, and we have great conversations. So
why not?
Great friend.
Well, now let's go to marketing in this space, because it's not easy in that space, obviously. But we are in a day and age of, we got people who know what they're doing and people who don't know what they're doing, and people who think they know what they're doing. How do you craft your messages when it comes to getting to that point to raise awareness of your business?
Absolutely. That's a great question. We are still learning every day. I know for a fact that there's a ton of things that we're doing wrong. So please do not be like, "Oh, these guys have it all together." Like, we're a small business as well. We're still trying the best we can. So
and it's a changing space.
Exactly, it changes. So I'd say that our main intention with anything that we do is we just want it to be relatable and easy to understand. We always try to look at it from the perspective of, how would I, as a client, as a business owner that may not be technically minded, how would I see this and understand this? Would this make sense to me? Are we using confusing language? ERP, like endpoint root user issue. Like, most general people don't know what that means. Or using law, DMARC, BIMI for emails. Like, they don't know what those mean. So it's essentially they're like certificates that will be used to make sure that your email doesn't go into spam. But we sit down and we have to think about those things, because for you and for me now a little bit, now that I'm more experienced in it, I get it. I know what it means. I don't think twice about it. But for someone potentially like yourself, or just a generic person, they're going to be like, "I don't know what that means." And so it's kind of trying to avoid the glassy-eyed stare when you're talking to someone and they're just like, "Uh-huh." And so it's just making sure that we're meaningful and we're providing a value and understanding to our people. And I think that's one of our great successes in separating us from just other people, is because we do try to be relatable, and we do. I'm gonna always, if I'm interacting with you, I'm like, "Do you have any questions? Did that make sense? Do I need to explain it?" Like, if it needs to get down to like analogies, like we're in, like, not kindergarten, but like if we need to break it down really to where a child can understand it, we'll do it, because we want to make sure that you are comfortable and you understand it. One of my favorite ones I use is I talk about just cybersecurity in general. I say cybersecurity, your business, your online presence is like a house. And we are like an armed guard patrolling around your house. we're checking doors, we're checking windows to make sure that they're locked. There's no way to sneak in. Because once they get in, your information is your contents, your furniture, your belongings. So once they get in, they can just walk right out with anything they want. So our job is to blast them in the head before they even get there. So that's
figuratively speaking.
Yes.
Just say, just
catch me on the right day.
Yes.
But no, yeah. So, but that's our thing is it's just making sure that whatever we do, we're intentional about it, and it's easy to understand, because no one is going to feel comfortable and engage in a service if they're confused.
I sometimes when I work with small business or about marketing and all of those things, usually when I have like a little overview or report, I have the jargon and then bracket human language.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is like, okay, I understand that it's good to let them know what the jargon is, but also having a little explainer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to assume that they don't know, because even if they do know, they're not going to care. And if they don't, they're going to be like, thank you for putting that in, because I wouldn't have known what that meant. Yeah. So absolutely. And I'd say this relates not just to IT, but anything in business. Like one of my favorite quotes that I heard someone say not too long ago, they said that the confused mind doesn't buy. Mm-hmm. So whenever you're reaching out to your clients or whoever you're working with, you need to make sure you have that clarity, because if they're confused, they're not going to engage with your services, and you're just wasting time. So it's just better to just assume that they might not know what you're speaking about, and just make it easier to understand. So just adjusting your words and adjusting, how you're coming across, and asking questions like, are you comfortable with this? Do you have questions? And giving them that ability to then voice concerns if they have it, because sometimes people won't feel brave enough to say it. They'll be like, they don't want to seem, they don't want to seem ignorant or of something. So by then offering that first step in, saying, hey, like, does this make sense? They can be like, actually, no. Whereas before they would have just been like, oh, I don't want to seem dumb, so I'm just going to nod along. So yeah, absolutely.
That was part 1 of my interview with James and Tristan from Forefront IT. There's a lot of really good information discussed, and next time we'll talk about VCIO, how it works, and how it can help small operations that don't have their own board of directors. We'll also talk about working with your spouse in that episode, so stay tuned. But at this point, I'm wrapping up the episode here for this time. Here are some of the things I learned today. Many small businesses or operations would start using different platforms to build their websites, emails, and such. Unfortunately, that can also mean they may not fit together as an ecosystem itself. Then their cybersecurity can be compromised easier. I'm quoting James on this one. When you set up your system correctly from the start, that actually will reduce your cost. Tristan and James distilled the information on cybersecurity and demystified them very well on LinkedIn. You'll often see something simple and actionable when you follow them. They are also very happy for people to direct message them on the platform, so I strongly encourage you to check out their LinkedIn profile and give them a follow or tag a friend about it. In the last years, AI has become a big part of the online world and actually the bigger computing and technology worlds. And cyber attack have become a lot more sophisticated than a bunch of people in data farms. On the other hand, Forefront IT is also incorporating AI into the defense work. You'll hear more about it in the next episode with them, which will be coming at the beginning of the next series. Please stay tuned for that. And meanwhile, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of some of my quick-fire questions with them. Welcome back to the last part of this episode with the boys from Forefront IT. Now, as we are moving into outside of the work questions, we are doing a quick fire round to wrap up this interview.
Okay.
What is the one item you couldn't live without?
Coffee.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know.
Okay,
pasta.
There you go. What are you like outside of work?
What do we like?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think of myself as a bit of a social butterfly, so I just love to be anywhere and everywhere.
I can be very extroverted, but I go back and forth between introvert and extrovert. So yeah.
Fair, we all work differently. Do you have a favorite theme park?
Oh, Walt Disney World, of course. Got a rep where I used to work.
Yeah, I mean, Dream World and Movie World, they're pretty crap. So, but yeah.
You can skip if you want. You can just say skip. Okay. Name a job you would do in the multiverse.
I would be a prosecutor, I would be a lawyer, and I would be cross-examining people. Yes.
Ooh. Like Donna Jessica Chong?
Oh, God. No, not her. I was thinking more like Harvey Specter, but that's
Oh, it's not Jessica? Oh, sorry.
I don't think I would change.
Fair enough. What inspires you on a Tuesday?
What inspires me on a Tuesday? Well, I, on Tuesday mornings, actually meet up with friends and do a really lovely walk. So we get up early, around 6 a.m., go for a walk, and it's just a great way to start the day. And so I'm really loving that it's kind of a new thing I've started doing. So,
Jeez, I hope they live nearby.
They do, yes. Yeah.
I'm not a morning person, so kill me.
Coffee.
Coffee?
Just kill me.
Okay. Get Chatty About Your Local Businesses podcast is produced by me, Arthur, the Chatty Curator. Thanks for your company. I hope you enjoyed this episode, learn something new, or pick up something helpful to realize your aspirations. The podcast guests are making time and appeared in kind, so please consider supporting the podcast by supporting them. Head over to their socials and website on the show note. Like or share on social media, or tag a friend about it, or send them the episode's dedicated page on chattycurator.com, a spot where you can listen to all of the episodes without a Spotify or YouTube Music account. Until the next episode, let's keep on getting chatty about your local businesses.